she's maybe had a baby with this man since filming.
Do you know why there's an axe on the back of things?
Production, why did we let this man go this far?
You're my darling, my golden one, my favorite. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to And Just Like Yap. I am Andi.
And Caroline.
We have finally reached the end of Love is Blind. We're down to 3 couples at the beginning of this. We started with, I think, 6.
Yep.
So dropping like flies. We are at the Bachelorette party. We've got one of those like fire festival tent domes, one of those al fresco seating during COVID at restaurants, plastic domes. You head to the bachelor party and it looks boring as fuck. The women are talking to their friends about the big decision that they have to make. KB is like, if I get sick of this man, like I can't just like walk out the door and be done with it. Here we come to Megan's friends talking to her about how she's going to make this decision. First of all, I mean, I know that, like, the theme we've established is some sort of, like, après-ski thing. I'm sure they're at some, like, cabin somewhere in Colorado, so they probably have a hot tub. But, like, the outfits going on right now of, like, jackets, towels, the friend who's never not wearing a cowboy hat. Like, this is a wild, wild scene. Megan is talking about how she doesn't always want to do everything alone the way she's been doing, and she and Jordan have different lifestyles. But she, like, starts with, like, he accepts me exactly as I am and loves me unconditionally, but I don't want to travel by myself. She's just like, Megan, like, really put some things in perspective. Megan's friends are, like, I don't know how you felt about this, but I felt like they were, like, mostly pretty toxic in this moment. Carrie was like, I feel like you're gonna say yes just because you fell in love with the kid, and like I don't think that's a good idea. And then this other friend who's sitting next to her was like also saying stuff like that. Silver puffer coat is the only one that's like on the correct level. Silver puffer jacket is just like, this could all be so beautiful. You could develop this beautiful family. And like her 2 other hater friends, Megan's 2 other hater friends, are like, now.
They do pose a good counterpoint of making her think that, because it's like, I could see Meg, I mean, because like we have seen it in the pods, her falling into this fantasy of like what it would be like to be a part of Luca's life. I do think it is like a valid criticism, but I do think it stoked a lot of doubt that maybe wasn't there as much before this conversation.
I understand that this is like a rapid experiment and we're approaching a wedding, but it's sort of like, now we're going to start actually thinking critically about the situation. Like we should have been doing that 3 weeks ago. But yeah, so we move on to another corner of the room.
Obsessed.
I don't know exactly where Daria is from, but I'm pretty sure she is Russian. And the fact, like, how did Alli move to Denver and find herself between Anton and Daria, like, and Natalia now in the middle of like a Chekhov play? Like, how did this? So these 2 were hilarious to me. They were like the funner version of like the wicked stepsisters in Cinderella.
Oh, yeah.
Daria's like, he's supposed to be like the man of the house for the family and like the provider, like in Russian culture. And then she gets really real with Alli and drops a hard truth. But another potential is he's just gonna forever be truck driver.
And again, there's nothing wrong with being a truck driver. Very legitimate job. I think the issue is that Anton has built up more what his lifestyle is versus what the reality is to Alli. And I think that's what's concerning here. It's not the fact that he's a truck driver. It's that I think he led on to a lot more in the pods that has shown... we don't know how much of like actual Anton Alli has seen at this point. So I think they're bringing up legitimate concerns, because it's like, okay, if this is like sort of what he's led on to at this point, what's going to happen when you're married? What's going to happen when you have kids? Like there's just at least much bigger questions about what the life will look like as a whole.
Yeah, even the fact that like if he is indeed a truck driver, his job description, like the Chiron the entire time has been transportation logistics, which is sort of like a massaging of, again, there's nothing wrong with being a truck driver, at all. But like the fact that like we've been sort of like massaging this idea that like, he also mentioned to Alli's mom that he's like wants to be like get into private equity, and then Alli responds to her friends here by saying, well, he's thinking about opening a barbershop and he's thinking about opening a restaurant. But then we find out that Our two friends are both going through divorces. I'm obsessed with them. I'm really obsessed with them. And the fact that Alli, these are the two women she's closest to that she's bringing to these wedding events are like two women who are on the verge of divorce, who are like, I mean, I'm going to give you my 2 cents, but like, keep in mind, I fucking hate men.
I know. Like, again, give us a reality show of these people. Like, I want to see these. I want to see we're at least like the director's cut. I want all the footage of them together.
Yes, I want the whole Bachelorette party. I want like a special DVD extra whole Bachelorette party. But yeah, when she announced that both of these women were going through divorce, I was like, Anton's cooked. There's just no way. And Anton is like listing all of like the things that he like doesn't like about Alli, but then also saying, but it's fine. Does she cook and clean? No. That's like not a good criteria to have as a wife, but we're past that. We know that Anton has like weird old world values. Rowdy Joe has made a reappearance for the bachelor party because, of course, how could you have a bachelor party without this guy? You know, and Anton's saying like there are things that are more important than the fact that she doesn't like cook or clean.
It's that she's hot. It's that she's hot. She's hot. That's what he values more than anything. He values that she's hot. He knows he's marrying out of his league and out of his caliber, and he's willing to overlook his old world values because she's hot. Yeah.
Because she is extraordinarily hot.
He's overlooking his own shortcomings. It's like, you have your own things you need to work on.
Oh, boy. And Jordan is just, like, talking about how excited... This sweet, simple man, he's so excited to be in a house and a routine. He just wants to be cozy and, like, have stuff, like, mapped out on the Google Calendar. Like... That is a comfortable, cozy dad. So then we start to head to Alli and Anton's wedding. You asked me to get a screenshot of this. They're both wearing these hoodies. I believe these are the quote-unquote engraved sweaters. They're clearly a rush order from customink.com. Like there's no question about that. Do you know why there's an axe on the back of this?
I was like, are we cutting off the ball and chain? Like, what is going on in here? Also, this frustrates me because I was like, this is immediately going into a landfill. Right after the wedding. And it's like, that's the most irritating thing. They spent $50 on this overnight to be worn for 6 hours, and it's going to be in a landfill for forever.
Well, don't spoil it for everyone, Caroline. We don't know. Maybe they'll get married and it'll be framed in their house.
Maybe, but if or not they got married, I doubt this is being wearied more than when they were on camera.
No,
Alli's not wearing that again.
No, there's just no chance. I really hope that some thrift store in Denver, like someone gets the find of a lifetime.
I know,
but you're probably right that they just threw these out.
But you know what? It feels like foreshadowing in some way.
Yeah, it does. I really want to know more about why he chose that graphic for the back. Then we are getting ready with Alli and Vanecci, her mother, and her mom is like stating her concerns about the fact that like Anton is an alcohol drinker, and Alli's like, well, I drink alcohol, and Vanecci's like, no, it's like the amount of alcohol that concerns me, and Vanecci her family doesn't drink alcohol, so her mom's airing her final concerns, but she does seem still very, very supportive of Alli's decision. I think it seems like they have a good mother-daughter relationship. This moment, Anton is putting on his socks, and the poor thing brought 2 different blue striped socks. And then Natalia appears, my favorite character of the whole season, and she gives him a pep talk that is like the weirdest, like Russian mama's boy lullaby of like, you're my darling, my golden one, my favorite, my joy, my little baby. Like, it's just...
It feels like The Godfather, like Marlon Brando coming in, you come to me the morning of my daughter's wedding. Like, very, like... She's got that energy going about her, because, like, we'll see in a second when she checks on Alli. I was like, oh, this woman is truly, like, she runs everything that's happening in here.
Yeah, and she wants this so bad for her son, her little golden boy who can do no wrong in her eyes. This is why I said when Alli was like, I'm feeling really good after meeting Anton's mom, I'm like, you cannot trust a mama's boy's mother to give you accurate information. They think he is the little prince of the whole universe.
Yeah.
And then we do get the meeting of the minds that we have longed for, which is Natalia and Vanecci. And we really thought that these two were going to get along because they seem to have the same kind of values. unfortunately, this is like a really just like heated moment to be meeting. Like she is in the dress. We are about to walk down the aisle. And this gave me absolute chills when Natalia gets tears in her eyes, her face just totally cracks, and she asks Alli, how do you feel about Anton? And I was just like, oh boy, she knows that like her son is sure and Alli is not sure, and she's like putting in a last ditch effort to try and like seal the deal for her son. Very uncomfortable to watch. What did you think?
Okay, and then I got the other end. I was like, maybe she's giving her the subtext, it's okay to say no. Was what I was thinking was like, listen to your heart of like, I think to rather than break her son's heart and go through with it. That was like the tone I was getting, but I also like appreciated this entire morning that like all of her friends were like not giving Anton any shit. They were just like truly like as they were getting ready, like were reminding her of like all these things, like the details about the partying, and I think it just. You know, I don't know. The exteriors were aligning to remind Alli of, like, the reality of the situation.
Okay, this scene was, like, so emotional. All of Alli's sisters come in, and at first I don't know if she's the eldest sister, but she is the sister that we had been previously talking about with Alli's mom, that she was not going to come to the wedding, that she was not supportive. Mm-hmm. She's just standing in the background. And, like, this felt like an Oscar moment scene from a movie. Like,
I know.
She's standing in the background. Like, look at how she's looking at her sister with, like, so much love. But, like, it's a very complicated situation. And then she gets in front of her and is like, I want you to know, like, I don't approve of this, but I love you and I want you to be happy. So, like, if this is going to make you happy, then, like, go for it. And, like, I will be there for you. And it was just like so beautiful to see all of her sisters there. And like this moment like made me tear up because like, you know, her sister doesn't understand or agree with what she's doing, but she still came and she like still is supporting her in this moment. And it was just like, it was so intense emotionally.
Yeah, it's funny. Okay, I have to always, when I see a group of sisters, I have to either align them with Little Women or Pride and Prejudice. And
further down in my notes, we'll get to it, yes.
But in this moment, I was like, oh,
keep going.
Alli is the kitty in this moment. And I think the two older ones, that was Jane and Elizabeth. And then this is, Mary, the one who's always playing the piano.
Mary.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. And they're like, come on. And I think she's the one who's like, because what I'm assuming in my birth order then is I think Alli's the youngest is what by context clues, and I think she's the next to youngest, and they probably grew up side by side, and I think that she is so overly protective of her that she knows what's best for her. And I think that's like such a hard thing. It's like, I don't have sisters, but like I assume that like has to be such a difficult thing to have to release for your sibling. And like when you know like you've done so much to be a part of their life, and when you like have to, you know, let them go now. Not to quote Beth and Joe, but in Little Women. But like that's like what I felt. But also I had the thought, I was like, Anton is not physically, emotionally, mentally ready to be entering a family with this many women. His truck is gonna literally run over him, like emotionally, physically, and mentally, like coming into this like a group of this many strong women. He's not ready. He is not no.
You are not, Anton, you are not prepared. You are not prepared. We get to the altar. Anton says, I do, as we knew he would. And Alli, oh boy, she kind of starts to break down after she's asked whether or not she's going to say I do, and she says, I can't be your wife, and the reason she gives that the person that she got to experience in the outside world was not the same as the person that she fell in love with in the pods. I just can't actually imagine going all the way through the wedding if you don't know that you're going to say yes. I know that it's probably in their contract with Netflix or like something, but like I can't imagine like bringing your family, getting all dressed up. Like, I'm not blaming Alli. I think she made the right decision. Yeah. But, like, this is the part of watching the show that where my brain just starts to, like, fry because I'm like, I cannot imagine having my relatives, like, take air travel and, like, putting on a dress and then having to do this in front of all of them because they have to break up in front of everybody on the altar. It's like excruciating.
I mean, it's like you and I were texting about this. It's like, do they really not know until they get up there? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just like don't know what the answer is.
I think they don't. Like, I don't know. Like, I really think that maybe they don't. Like, and this kind of comes up in this episode too. Like, I think people tell themselves like, well, once all of the stuff is in place, once I'm actually walking down the aisle, I've got like the person giving me away on my arm, like maybe that's when I'll feel, maybe that's when I'll know. And I think a lot of that just has to do with like wedding culture in this country and in TV and movies. Like, we sort of like to convince people that like, you may have second thoughts right before you, and it's like, that's really, you shouldn't. But, oh my God, this poor little girl who I'm assuming is a niece of Alli's, like, is...
I know.
Crying in the back. I felt so bad for her. And then we also get the reactions from Joe and Natalia, and then look at Joe's girlfriend's face sitting right behind Natalia. I was like, how could you possibly be making that face when you were like one of the main people to clue Alli into the fact that
she was the Lusitania of this entire situation. She is the reason what the cracks started in the foundation. We found out about the strip clubs because of her, the amount of shots they were doing because of her. Like, thank you. Honestly, thank you. Yeah. These two should not be getting married. Also, you could see the shots, like, as it was leading up on Alli's side, all of her friends, you could see them mentally forming a prayer circle, just, like, saying, like, say no. Say no. Like, you could feel it radiating from all the strong women on that side of the aisle that were like, say no. Say no. And I'm glad she heard their prayers. Joe seems upset, but I was like, they're going to be in a strip club in 12 hours. That man already has a strip club lined up for him. He already got the dollar bills in his suit pocket, and they are going to be in a strip club, like, taking shots within the evening.
Yeah, and then this moment of, I don't know who this woman is, friend, family member, whatever, of Anton's, she calls Alli a cold-hearted fucking bitch, and then I don't know if this was a magic of editing, but it seems like then Natalia was like, yes, that's what I was thinking too. And I was like, excuse me?
I know.
You showed up to the wedding to support her, and then she says no, and if she had said yes, you would be like hugging her and kissing her and getting to know her and on the dance floor with her, and just because she said no, you're like, she's a fucking bitch. It's like when a guy's hitting on you at a bar and you're like, no, and he's like, well, you're a fucking, and you're like, whoa!
Where did this come? Well, it's just, it's a reminder that, like, women become the villain immediately. Like, it very quickly, it takes, like, not much to push them over. It's easier to blame everything on Alli instead of maybe looking at the shortcomings that Anton brought to the situation, because she would have to then address the fact that maybe her poor little prince isn't much of a prince as she thinks he is, and I think that would be a reality check that Natalia doesn't want to have about her son, and that's okay. But it's also, we don't need to make the woman the villain. I'm sorry, we don't need to do it immediately, but that's, like, I think 9 times out of 10 what happens in these situations. Like, what did she do? What did she do wrong? And it's time and time again, we'll see it.
So Alli then reveals that, like, the reason she said no, she says, it didn't feel right or how I would expect that moment to feel like, which is why I think, like, she might have really not known until she was up there. I think she really was. This show makes people crazy. The altitude in Denver is clearly making people crazy. And I think they just decide that they're going to make a game time decision and see how they feel once all of the trappings of the wedding have been added. And, like, good for her for being like, no, I don't, this doesn't feel right in this moment to, like, say yes. She's listing all the ways in which that she felt like Anton kind of, like, lied to her in the pods. One of the things she mentions is, like, how active he is and how healthily he eats. So I think she was expecting to, I don't know, be with somebody who was going to be, like, making smoothies and going to the gym all the time. Yeah. Based on what he said. It's not a value that I personally think is important in choosing a husband, but I don't know. It was just interesting because we hadn't yet heard that from her. There was a lot of stuff about, like, the alcohol and, like, his ambition and drive, but not about like his like eating and exercise habits, which feels a little bit shallow. But like at this point, if she wasn't going to say yes, then like whatever.
Yeah, I think maybe it's like aligned with that like lifestyle thing of like how much he's like going out and partying, because it's like, oh, all right, but you're not doing anything to like balance that part of it. I wonder if it's just like, so it's maybe not like, it's just more of like a lifestyle, like compatibility. I'm just curious, honestly, is Alli even still in Denver, I wonder? Because she was like,
probably
I hate
not.
Denver. So I'm curious to see at the reunion, like, if she's even still in Denver.
I doubt it, because it's been like, you know, a year and a half, almost 2 years. I doubt she's still there. Madison has been talking a little bit about what a nice guy she thinks Anton is, and how she was surprised of like the way he was portrayed on the show, which kind of like, I don't know, that like sent a little like tingle into my brain of like, did Madison and Anton end up hooking up? I mean, that happens on this show sometimes, because these people tend to like, then, as we will discuss, I'm sure at the reunion, these people tend to like keep dipping into the same pod, because all of these people have had the same crazy experience that they've had, and we'll see. I don't know. I had a thought though. I have a prediction, like maybe something happened between Madison and Anton. We head to KB and Edmond has been ready to say yes this whole time. He's like, I don't have cold feet. My feet are hot. The energy from this man on this day is wild. Absolutely
frenetic.
Wild. Frenetic. Yes, that is the right word. He sees KB's ring and he starts crying. I mean, it's obviously very emotional. I really, despite all of their issues and the fighting and the fact that like Edmond really needs to work on himself, I really have been rooting for these two. I will say that. We find out that Edmond's mom didn't make it to the wedding, and he says it's not because of like she doesn't like KB or whatever. Like she had some sort of other obligation or reason for not being there. KB's mom goes to talk to Edmond, which just like makes my heart squishy that she loves him so much. But also, you know, Edmond's talking to her about the fact that his mom didn't come, and immediately, like, you can tell where KB gets it from. KB's mom immediately goes into like therapizing Edmond.
So now KB's mom, we see her go to the ladies' villa where everyone is getting ready, which I was worried for a minute because I felt like we didn't see any hair and makeup artists. I was like, please tell me they're not all doing their hair and makeup on their own. So I was concerned about that for a second.
I had the same thought, yes.
Because KB was doing her hair for a second. I was like, oh my God, Netflix, you have enough money. Hire a couple makeup and hair artists. But I love this like spread that I'm seeing in there. They're having mimosas. We see snacks. And KB and her mom are checking in like, we're getting married, and she's like, I'm a woman now. Ooh, I have a like, you can just feel the excitement is sort of building over in the ladies' side. They're having a lot more fun over there versus like on Edmund's side. It just kind of feels depressing because he's alone.
I know.
And I feel very badly about that. But also, it does kind of seem a little bit like she's speaking at it from a, like, is she moving past it sort of, like, it just doesn't feel like someone who's about to get married.
The energy difference between her and Edmond tipped me off a little bit. I was like, and this was the moment where I was like, I'm starting to feel like she's planning on saying no, and I'm also like, why do it then?
Yeah, like, is there, we've had so many couples break up already. We need, like, a minimum amount of couples for the last episode. So no matter how you feel, unfortunately, because you're the three left, you have to make it to the altar. Like, I don't know.
Right. Or is it more like, I want to, like, I don't know. I feel like KB is not this shallow, but, like, is it like, well, let's, like, put on the dress and put on the makeup and, like, have fun and, like, do the whole performance of it because, like, it's fun to do? I don't know. Like, KB doesn't seem like that shallow a person, nor does Alli.
Yeah.
I need more information about, like, what the actual contract specifics are and, like, why they let themselves get this far if they're not 100%.
It's very fascinating. And he's, famous last words, I'm feeling so good. He looks so happy here.
I know.
It's it's a wild. This is when I was like, oh, this is the exact same setup.
Yeah.
From the day before. We just switched out, like, there's now some, like, lanterns here. And also, because I had to figure out, I was like, where is this location? And I looked, there was, like, a Reddit thread I sent Andi. It's apparently at some golf club owned by the CEO of Max of Realty fame.
Remax, yeah.
Remax. And he built it for his wife, because he also couldn't get a membership to this other golf club, so they're the only 2 members of this golf course, which I was like, wow, we need to tax people of wealth in this country. I was like, if you're able to build a golf course just for you and your wife,
yeah, if you have the funds to build a pettiness golf course, like, you have too much money.
KB's getting out of, I don't know, a Honda CRV to walk down the aisle, and her mom's fluffing her, and she's like, I just got so nervous. I was like, oh God, this is not going to end well. This is going to be bad.
No.
And then we see this Nelly Furtado stand-in with this knockoff Kimosabe hat is officiating.
The cowboy fedora hat situation in Colorado is a problem. It's a real big problem. Like, someone needs to do something about the cowboy fedora hat situation in Colorado. People are wearing them at moments too much. Too much. You shouldn't be wearing this. If my officiant were wearing this at my wedding, I would stop the wedding as I was coming down the aisle, and I'd be like, please take that off. I do not want it in the video. I do not want it in the pictures. That's when I knew, when KB came down the aisle and, like, was cool with the fact that this woman was just wearing this hat. I was like, she's not going to say it.
No. And we see Edmond look so happy. This is him looking at KB walking down the aisle, which is always my favorite thing at a wedding. Is I have to look at the groom and see, or whoever is standing up there.
You and James Marsden in 27 dresses.
Yeah. It's what you gotta do. You gotta look at him, how they're feeling. He looks so happy looking at KB.
I know.
Like, he's so settled in his decision making. And KB is muttering under her breath, oh man. I'm like, oh girl, there's time to run in the other direction. Like, you don't have to get to the end of the aisle. We just see this polite interaction at the top of the aisle, that they look so nice and beautiful to each other. This hat, I'm sorry, there's a million screenshots of the hat. I can't handle this. Like, they're having a beautiful moment, and the hat takes away from, like, Dudley Do-Right's hat in the middle of all of this is just, like, taking away from this moment.
Like, why are
in this, like, ChatGPT written efficient moment.
Like, why are you officiating in a Babadook outfit? Like, why?
How do we get here? And he's like, I've been praying for someone like you. I really mean it. And, like she's trying, like, what, this officiant is, like, so into this, and is, like, just staring at every moment. This made me think of, like, a very important note, friend of the pod, Michael Gomez, taught me, because he's officiated a million weddings. As a proper officiant, what you should be doing when they're saying the vows and things like this, you step out of frame. Because you should not
so they can get pictures.
You should not, because then it becomes about you and how you're reacting to that. As we're seeing in this moment, I can't stop looking at this fuck-ass hat that is in between Edmond having an emotionally, like, vulnerable moment while she's staring.
And she's doing a lot of, like, face acting. She's, like, an extra in a scene that you have to be like, you need to turn it down a little bit.
I know. Like, she's acting like she's the third. Like,
yeah, she's, like, standing so close to that.
So close. It's too much. Again, more like, another close-up of her face, and he's like, I got the pressure. And, oh no, this is when I knew it was bad, because KB says it was so easy to fall for you and fall in love with your story.
Yep. We are speaking in past tense now, and just the tone is somber. The tone of her vows are somber.
And, like, Edmond's not hearing it. Edmond is like, he's happy, he's fine. KB's mom, she sees what's coming. This look on her face, and she's like, oh no, this is about to go left. This is about to go left.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to decide if love is blind. The time has come. And Edmond says, I do. And we see her just, like, KB is like, I can't commit to this. And we hear the, like, exhale heard round the world in Love is Blind history. And that's, like, a guttural cry from Edmond of, like, oh, of, like, ah! Like, it's just, I can't even recreate it. And I was like, oh, no, this man should not have been on this show. Production, why did we let this man go this far?
KB was probably dreading this because she knows how emotional he is and how he reacts to things. And this is such a heightened moment. And it's sick that it has to happen in front of everybody.
Everyone.
Like, all their friends and loved ones. So, like, I can't imagine how KB was feeling. And, like, Edmond, like, turns around and, like, really tries to, like, steady himself, but it is just, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's just, like, why we have to ask the question of, like, did she know? Because it's, like, I don't know if she knew until that moment. I don't know.
I don't either. It's, like, really, again, this is, like, I will keep saying this, I, like, really can't wrap my brain around going all the way through this to say no.
It's shocking.
And, like, the second that she started talking and was, like, complimenting him and speaking in past tense, I was like, this is not going to be good.
Well, and part of me wonders, just sort of, like, based off his reaction with stuff when they were in Mexico, maybe there was part of me that's, like, maybe she felt like she had to do, and I'm just, like, thinking about this now, she had to do this in public, because what would his reaction had been like if it was just the two of them?
Oh, I mean, I don't know that I would go that far, but
I don't know, just something to
think about for sure, because he did react pretty badly in Mexico. It's more like tantrum though, like it's uncomfortable, but it's like not necessarily concerning. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't know what it would have been like if it was one-on-one. I just, like, had that thought of, like, because I could see that it's, like, I'm protecting myself because he's not going to act, like, in that way that he was. Because also she did mention in the episode or two before about, like, how different he is off camera.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I could see that in a situation where it's, like, the best case scenario is also the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, just thinking from a psychology, like, therapy standpoint, I wonder if there was a bit of, like, her protecting herself in that moment.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, do this in front of everybody so that he has to sort of, like, tone it down a little bit and not fully freak out. And so that, like, everybody can see, like, I do love this man and I do respect this man.
Yeah.
Like, it is kind of good to be able to say that stuff in front of other people so that there are actual witnesses to be like, hey, like, I know why I'm making these decisions and I want to be very clear about it so that, like, none of our family is going to get a different story. Like, you saw it happen.
Even in this moment, like, KB is being so gentle about,
I know.
Like,
she's still taking care of him more than herself in this moment.
Yeah, just, like, telling him, he's like, you deserve someone who should be 100%, and I'm not 100% right now.
She does say that she had been fighting with it all the way up until the end. So I think similar to Alli, they were both KB and Alli were sort of relying on, like, the grandeur of the moment to, like, give them the answer. The thing that, like, really made me be like, oof, in this, like, private conversation that they're having is Edmond says, like, somewhere down the line, maybe, and then KB is like, well, I'll never forget you. And I was like, oh, she's ending it. She's, like, ending it. And that's the thing about this show. Like, they get really dramatic where they're like, will you choose to get married or will you walk away forever? And it's like, that's not a legal obligation. You guys could still date even if you don't get married. But it kind of seems like she's using this as the moment to, like, end it fully, which usually happens in this show. Like, usually the person who gets dumped at the altar, like, doesn't want to, like, they're too hurt to want to keep dating. And, like, in this instance, Edmond was like, let's just pretend this didn't happen and let's move on. And KB is like, no, like, this is it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how you would come back from that. That's just, like, a very difficult thing to be like, oh, you turned me down at the altar. Like, I think there would be some sort of underlying resentment that is, like, held there. So I think that's hard. But we have this, like, cinematic shot of the two of them. KB is, they're, making their separate ways. KB's walking away.
Ugh.
Edmond is, like, alone, slumped over. And God, I loved this line so much from Katie's mom. You don't have to feel bad for choosing you. I think that it needs to be engraved on every woman's chest that I know. You don't have to feel bad for choosing you, because at the end of the day, you are the only one that's going to be choosing for yourself. And I think, like, if you have any inch of doubt, like, you have to honor that. Like KB said, it's like, there is nothing bad that can happen from you choosing yourself. And I'm just so glad she chose herself over a dynamic where she would have to be carrying the burden for so much. And that's just, you know, there's only so long that you can do that for. Like, it's just...
Yeah, and she had to do it right up until the altar, and then after the altar, like, she was taking care of his feelings constantly.
Yeah, and I'm just so relieved, because I think... many women do talk themselves, like, into that. They're like, I can handle this forever.
I do love Edmond. Like, I really... Totally. I feel for him. I think he's a really good person. I think he's just... his journey healing on his own is not done yet, and that has to come to a close before he can have another person in his life.
He's spiraling. It's still lonely out here in the world, and we're left with, like, this shot of them... And that's the end of KB and Edmond, as we see. And we go to our Act 3 and our tragedy. This is the final act. Shakespeare is written. We are taken to the cursed Wayfarer sofa that Megan and Jordan are sitting on.
I have been way too invested in this couple. I have been having dreams about them. Like, it's not good. Like, I don't know. I let myself go on a romantic journey with these two that I let my guard down too much.
It's fair. I mean, well, my therapist and I even said yesterday in therapy, it's like, this is the couple that, like, I think we're all the most invested in. It's been the most interesting, I think, to sort of, like, align with and kind of feel out, like, how they've been doing. And, like, the conversations they've been having, I think, have been very rich. And I think that this was the one I was like, okay, I had a feeling the other two weren't going to work out, but I was like, what is happening here? This is the one with the most X factor that I think we thought they were the most solid. I think but the cracks started to show last episode, as we discussed. And clearly Megan is not in the wedding dress. She is in workout clothes. So we are not at Remax headquarters. We are in the cursed building where, like, glass is shattering. God, I hope they, like, bulldoze that building after filming. And Jordan comes in. And Megan has now, like, gone down this path of just, like, I feel like we're two different people. We're ships in the night. It's like Carrie has gotten in her brain fully. The baddies from The Bachelorette, the women of Denver.
For some reason you decided that a woman in a bikini top, a fur coat, and a fedora had the right information for you to make this decision.
I know. And Jordan's like, I don't think we're that different. And is, like, trying to, like, talk sense into her. I will say I am very relieved that they're having this conversation at the high rise instead of before the wedding. I'm glad they've not pulled Luca into this. I am glad that, like, at the very, very minimal least, I'm very glad they're not there. This is, like, a casual conversation. And Megan is starting to, like, pull at these things of, like, why they're so different. Like, you're a picky eater. I'm an adventurous eater. And I think she's, like, you know, I feel like that's a weird thing to say, we're not compatible, you know? And she's like, I want to do those things with a partner. I don't know, like, how did you feel about this, like, part of the conversation to this point?
I hated all of this. I really feel like Megan is fumbling one of the only good men who has ever been on this show. And, like, I am a Jordan apologist till the end of time, but, like, I've been having, but, like, to say that someone is not compatible with you because they need to work a job and earn a living and not have a completely flexible rich person schedule is completely unreasonable, because that is 99% of people. You are in the 1%. You sat in the pods with Mike, who could have given you this exact life that you wanted. And you said no because that was what you were used to. Also, the crazy pivot from crying about how you are the best option to be Luca's stepmom because, like, who better to step in and take care of him with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy pivot to then be like, you don't like trying new food, so we can't get married. I don't know. It's just the amount of, like, privilege to be like, I understand. Like, you don't want to have to go on trips without your significant other. I'm sure she just didn't realize how rigid Jordan's schedule is with having a kid. But it seems callous and cruel. You can have a different kind of marriage where you don't have to do everything together. Also, like, kids grow up. He will eventually be an age where Jordan doesn't need to be taking care of him all the time. Like, this is why you get married, have kids, and then once they're 18, like, you go take a bunch of trips together. Like, I don't know. It's just, it felt really cruel and wrong and privileged, and I was really angry at her about it.
Yeah, I think she just got, like, the coldest feet imaginable. And I do think, like, and also it's, like, knowing that he's also not parenting 100% of the time.
No,
like,
he's not.
In theory, there should be flexibility because he is co-parenting. There is, like, I don't know what their custody situation is.
He had enough flexibility to do the show.
I don't know. It's interesting. Well, and here's a devil's advocate thing I've been thinking about with some of this, because there was a lot of conversation around this summer when Hudda was on Love Island USA and she's a single mom. And a lot of people on the internet were, like, critiquing her of, like, why did you leave your daughter, et cetera, when she was like, I have, like, a parenting plan. And also Hudda has a lot of issues. I'm not being a Hudda apologist. I'm just being a devil's advocate in the situation.
Yeah.
And I think it is interesting that then in this same situation where it's a father is, like, doing this, we're not critiquing anything about him, like, not being with his son for, like, weeks in the pods, going to Mexico. And it seems like for most of this, his mom, like, had custody of him, like, while they were filming. So it's just interesting, I don't know, that there's no criticism of that online versus where I think if it's a mother doing this single parent thing on a reality show, it immediately is like, what is she doing? She can't be happy. She can't explore that, like, aspect of herself. I don't know. This is just something that's, like, was kind of bothering me, like,
no, for sure.
About this.
And I can't really remember, but I feel like Jessica from one of the previous seasons, and she's a single mom, got some flack for that as well. Yeah, and what's weird is, like, Megan's giving him flack for basically asking him to be, like, a less involved parent.
Yeah. I think it's, like, the idealization is, like, catching up with reality. I think of, like, what she thought their life could look like. And it's frustrating that it's happening in this moment. Again, I'm glad this is not happening at the altar. I'm glad this conversation is happening in an apartment. Like, at least, like, I think she has her head on straight enough to, like, have been like, I'm not dragging you through that. Like, we're not doing that. We're having this conversation, like, just the two of us and a camera crew.
And a camera crew. I did appreciate that. Again, though, I don't know why these things have to be so final.
I know.
Like, yes, I know that, like, the wedding looming is really what makes people freak out. Because, you know, they've only known the person that they got engaged to, like, what, like a month and a half?
Right,
so, like, it's not actually, in general, not a good idea to marry somebody you haven't known longer than that. However, I don't understand why we can't have a conversation of, like, hey, let's not do this wedding, but let's, like, slowly keep dating and building up and, like, seeing if I can be a part of your life and we can work this out. We're about to get so much time back because we're not going to be filming all the goddamn time.
Correct.
So I just don't know why in these situations they feel the need to, like, make things so final. We'll talk about this, but I'll be very curious to see at the what happens at the reunion if these two did try again at all.
Because, like, she could have because instead of jumping to, like, we need to buy a house, she could have easily, like, kept her place in LA, rented a condo in Denver, and they could have kept going to see, like, is this going to be a long-term match when we don't have these parameters that we're having to work with?
Yeah.
Because we definitely, I think that's why we're all so charged by this situation, because we did see something there, and she was taking a chance on something that's like, you know what, I need to not do what I normally do. And it's frustrating. And
also, not that this is everything, but this best sex of your life.
Say that.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I know, and she like gets into talking about like how, you know, all the men have had a fairly flexible schedule to this point, and you can see Jordan's like the light is draining from his eyes the further we get in this conversation. Which like I will say that is, I mean, there are those men that when this they just like shut down immediately and they have like written you off forever, which is part of why I'm like, I could see that maybe he didn't want to revisit it, because I can see that this is a man that's like, okay, well, once you've done this, you're dead to me forever.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't know why you chose me in the pods. And I also took a picture. I was like, my God, this is like the smallest couch of all time that we're having this conversation on. I was like, this man can't even like put his legs up there. There's like not enough space for both of them on this couch.
I know.
And he's like reiterating, like, I told you, you would have to make sacrifices to be with me and Luca. And she's like, I just still have reservations. And it's like, he's like recognizing nothing that he says in this, like she's made up her mind. Again, he's having to put his foot on the coffee table. I just was like, poor man. Like, and he's like, you know, our wedding. And she's like, I just like can't do this. This like shot of them holding hands, I was just like, this is just truly breaking my heart, and like everything that's happening in this moment, like just because they clearly like felt so much for each other. There's a tear going down Jordan's face.
These two were really in love. These two were genuinely in love. I don't know that I would say that like Anton and Alli were genuinely in love. I don't know that I would even say that KB and Edmond were genuinely in love. Like these two really seemed like they actually fell in love.
Like, they were actually, like, emotionally mature adults that were, like, meeting each other. It felt like, where they needed to meet each other at. And she is, like, again, like, reiterating, like, it's not only you in this. And this was when I was like, oh, this man is just, like, shut down forever. He's like, well, I don't really have anything else to say.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know,
he can't even keep his eyes open in these interviews because he's crying. Like, oh my God. I think he was just sobbing, and they were like, we need to do these interviews.
Unfortunately, like, we hate to do this to you, but you do have to like have a confessional. And he is like, you know, I think she was looking past this. I think we would be getting married. And then we hear this producer say, do you have any regrets? And the like, this hit me like a ton of bricks. I wish I didn't introduce her to my son.
Yeah, that sent me over the edge. That really broke my heart.
I just
really broke my heart.
That's why I was like, there's no way they're coming. There was like no continuing to date after this, because it's like
probably not. No.
Knowing the conversation he has to have with Luca, like that off camera. That I don't know. Like, did he and the mom have it with him, or was it just him? There's just so many extra variables in this, and it's just a heartbreaking situation.
Especially, like, I don't know if they were planning to have, like, Luca be a ring bearer or whatever, but, like, if that was in the mix, too, like, that's, like, if he was going to be at the wedding or, like, part of the wedding, like, we don't know, like, when exactly this is taking place. It's just so rough. And it's devastating, and he clearly just looks so sad. I will say, like, again, as you said, I'm glad that Megan did this now rather than going through with the wedding. Like, that was the right decision. It seems like she was living in some sort of, like, fantasy world of, like, I'm just going to do something totally different because I'm already doing something totally different by being on reality TV. And it just seems like the wedding got closer and, like, the filming was drawing to a close, and she sort of snapped out of her, like, fantasy and realized that, like, this is going to be a legally binding marriage.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I wish that she had some of this forethought earlier when she was, like, deciding to go on this, like, Sparkle Meg, like, living it up journey. I wish that she had thought about the fact that she could be potentially leaving.
And this also was equally as devastating. I was like, oh my God. And she was like, it's making me question if I'm even cut out to be a mom. And I was like,
now we're really spiraling.
And I think like that, I mean, whether you want to be a mother or not as a woman, I think this is like the most base of like these like feelings. You have to like have the conversation with yourself, whether you do or not want to be a mom. And I just could feel like this is activating some deep insecurities for her that I think maybe she thought she was so much more secure about than she actually was. And I was like, God, I don't know. I feel for both, like, there's a lot to be criticized about her, but I do really feel for both of them in this moment, because I think, like, maybe she thought she was much more capable for this than she actually was, and, like, I think that would mess with your sense of self and, like, your access, like, in general, of just, like, do I know myself in the way that I thought I did? Maybe I don't, and this sucks. It just really sucks. Wrapping up this, and we get to they cut to Miley Cyrus's Flowers, starts playing this insane edit, a montage of everyone, and there's this like beautiful shot of Alli like against the door, and we get this, like, I don't know what efficient is saying this, but we have this like voiceover where they try to tie all of this together about that, like, love isn't, like, you know, happily ever after, it's the experience of writing your story.
Maybe they contacted the officiant who was supposed to do Megan and Jordan's wedding, and they were like, "Can you just, like, I don't know, we'll bring you into a recording booth and just say some stuff."
Yeah, you're gonna do some ADR super fast. Yeah. We're gonna pretend like this happened on the day. Alli's going down the stairs. Everyone's leaving. I just thought this was so funny. The visual of this tote bag with the veil in it. I was like, oh, she's like, well, I gotta return it. And that's the end of the weddings. And what was very interesting, so it's like this cut down. I was like, well, where are we going to see the preview of the reunion? And it like cuts to black, like, almost. And then we get next week, Love is Blind, the reunion. Megan said that she wasn't cut out to be a mother. And all we get is then Megan saying, today I actually have a little bit of a surprise. And then there's shots of, like, everyone. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? And I was like, immediately I was like, is she pregnant? I don't know, like, what has happened? Because, like we said, it's been 2 years. But the streets have been talking. The blogs are blogging. And there are some photos. But allegedly, as I've been taught at the Bravo School of Housewives, allegedly, there are these photos taken that the Sun has posted, if you want to do a quick 30-second Google. This bald man outside of, like, what appears to be a place that she's been living. She's in like a Lululemon tie-dye shirt and like leggings, and there's a man holding a baby, like a very fresh baby. A fresh baby, and people think that she's maybe had a baby with this man since filming.
I mean, it has been almost 2 years.
A lot can happen in 2 years.
Yeah, and like this kind of crazy emotional experience you go through does tend to springboard people into making, you know, there are a lot of cast members of Love is Blind who, like, it didn't work out on the show, but then something very quickly worked out afterward. I guess it's possible. I'm just like, I need to know what's going on with Jordan. Like, did he find somebody? Like, because this is just sort of like, if not, this is like insult to injury of like, I couldn't join your family, but I went ahead and started my own. That being said, it's her life. She can do whatever she wants.
Totally.
Yeah, it's just wild. Like, Netflix, you need to get these shows out more quickly because like these people are not like interesting enough for me to be like, oh, what have they been doing for the last 2 years?
And it's like, also, what we did not get into, because this couple wasn't in the episode, there's also come out since then, Joe has a new girlfriend, but between that, he and Casey were allegedly hooking up while he was with Madison at that infamous singles night they referred to. Yeah. And Casey has been reaching out to Joe since he's been dating this new woman. Again, this is all on podcasts. Like, Netflix, like, I know. You're doing a bad job. You're doing a bad job if this is, like, none of this is on camera.
Also, I already fucking hated Joe, but the fact his girlfriend is just proof that I hate him, because his girlfriend is just as bad as he is. Because, like, why is the girlfriend of a cast member of Love is Blind doing interviews? Like, why is she so eager to get on the like, they're just, it's all bad. And he's got his podcast. Like, they just did this for like the promotional long con of it. This reunion is going to be chaotic. I don't think they're the ones who should be doing this, are not capable of the job, but unfortunately they're the people assigned to the job. And I don't know, how are we left feeling after this whole season, these, like, weddings? I don't know. I'm just excited for the reunion. I wish the reunion were hosted by somebody different. I wish it's probably only going to be like 90 minutes max, but like I want more. And I guess we can announce here, we are going to be doing a live recap right after the reunion, our first ever live recap. The reunion airs Wednesday, October 29th. It is at 9 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m. Pacific.
Yes, 7 p.m. Central. And Mountain Time, whatever. We are going to be doing a recap right after that is over. So it'll probably be an hour, probably 90 minutes. So sometime around then, you can keep up with that on our YouTube page. And we will also like post announcements about that on our Instagram. But yeah, we are going to get to yapping like pretty much right after the reunion ends. So please join us. Please join us.
We can't wait to see what you're going to say in the comments. Like, we are dying to, like, hear what you're thinking. Because I know there's going to be a lot that we're going to want to say as soon as it's finished. Hopefully Netflix doesn't crash like it has in other previous reunions. So hopefully they've figured out the kinks. But we can't wait to have you join us. It's going to be great. Make sure you're subscribed so you get all the notifications. We will see you next week to wrap up this insane season. Okay, everybody?
Okay. We'll see you then.
Bye.